Hello guys, this is part 111 of ASP.NET video series. In this video, we will discuss about navigating to a specific month and an year in an ASP.NET calendar control. Let me show you the complete presentation slide. Okay, that's it. In this presentation slide, we have this much of thing to show. So this question is very important. So this is very important. There are several reasons or situations in real time where we need to navigate to a specific month and an year in an ASP.NET calendar control. For example, if the date of birth of a person is in the year 1960, we may have to click on the calendar control several times. So let me first show you the second presentation slide precisely. Okay. This is our second presentation slide. Okay. So what were we discussing about? If date of birth of a person is in the year 1960, we may have to click on the calendar control several times to navigate to that years. So where to go now? Go to the browser. We have to click this number of time to navigate to that year. Now just imagine, now we are in the year 2024 of August. I am filling web form. I am filling web form here, and the date of birth of a person is in the year 1960. Now if I have to select the date of birth of the person from this calendar control, just imagine how many clicks would it take to actually navigate to that year using this previous month button. I have to keep on clicking until it reach 1960. I am still in 2024. Okay, so obviously the built-in user interface that the standard ASP.NET control has, doesn't allow me to skip years and month. But then we can provide two drop-down list controls like this. Where the user can select an year. For example, at the moment we are in 2024. Let's say I want to go to 2011. Let's say we go to 2011. As soon as I select the year, look at that. The calendar changes to August 2011, not January 2011. because I have selected here January. Okay, so make it August. Okay, we reached to 2011 of August. But in 2011, let's say I want to go to, you know, maybe month October. So let's go to the October. Where is the October? October is here. So we are in 2011 of October. I select October, and the calendar changes to October 2011. All the user needs to do right now, if the date of birth is 10th October 2011, I select the date. If I select the date 10th October, and click on this button, and I click this button, I get that particular date. I get that particular date. Okay, similarly, if you want to navigate to the years 1960, all you have to do is populate the drop down list. You know, that year, and then you will be navigated. Navigated to that date. Or yeah, so let's see how to achieve this, and it is very simple to achieve this. All you have to do is have two drop down list controls, controls, populate them with years and month that you want, and then change the visible date property of this calendar control, and change the visible date property of this calendar control programmatically. That's it. Let's go ahead and see how to do that. So obviously I need a drop down list control to display here. So go to the Visual Studio first. Where is the Visual Studio? Yeah. So obviously I need a drop down list control to display here. So I am going to have this text box here. So I'm going to have this text box here, and then drag and drop list control. And so where is the list control? Drop down list control. Okay, here it is. And along the same line, let's put some space. Along the same line, let's put some space there, and then maybe I want some static text, and then maybe I want some static text month. Static text month, and then a drop down list control there as well, and a drop down list control there as well. And the next thing, we want the calendar control itself. So let's drag and drop the calendar control. Where is the calendar control? Here it is. We have our calendar control, and then finally a button control. Where is the button control? Here it is. We have our button control. Okay, and then let's change the text of this button control, and let's and let's change the text of this button control. Select it and go to its property and change the text to get selected date. Okay, so now the next step is to basically populate this year drop down list, and to do that I am going to get my years, instead of adding them programmatically on the web form, I am going to get my years from XML file. Okay, so within this project I have this folder. I have this folder data. I have this folder called data folder, and then within that folder I have this years.xml file. And if you look at this XML, file, we have years root. Here is the years root node, and within that we have several years here. And each year has got number and value property, and each year has got number and value property, as you can see here. I'm in an element. Okay, so we have from 2000 to 2013, from 2000 to 2013. You can go for more years by adding these same elements. Okay, you can have as many years as you want within this XML file. Now if you want to add an XML file to your project, all you need to do is right click. What you need to do, right click on this folder and go to add and new item. Click the data tab. Here is the XML file. Okay, and change the name to the meaningful name. Okay, and then click add. Because I have already created this file, so I cancel this. Okay, this is the way to add your XML file into the data folder, and then copy paste this and copy paste this XML data there, and copy and paste the XML data there. Similarly, I am going to have another XML file for month. Here is the XML file for month, to store month. And if you look at months, I have month roots node, months root node, and then month, and within which we have the month number, and then month number and month name. Okay, so obviously what I want to do is I want to read this years. I want to read this years XML. Where is the this? This is the your XML data from the XML file, and display that within the web form. And display that within the web form. Okay, so how do we do that to read data from an XML file? The simplest way is to use the data set. Simplest way is to use the data set. So go to the web form, and so I'm going to use the data set. And data set is present in system.data. System.data namespace. So let's import that. I have already imported that. And let's create an instance of the dataset object, and let's create the instance of the dataset object. So dataset itself call that ds years. ds years is equal to new data set. And what we want to do, we want to read the XML file. And what we want to do, we want to read XML file. So ds years. So ds years so what we want to do, we want to read the XML file. So ds years, we have a method called read XML. We have a method called read XML. Here it is, read XML. All you have to do is specify the name of the XML file. So I am going to use server.map path. Server.map path. Server dot map path. Server dot map path which maps the virtual path of the physical path. Which maps the virtual path of the physical path. So the file is present in the root directory of this web application project. So the file is present in the root directory of this web application project within the data folder. Okay. And the XML file name is years.xml. Okay. Years.xml. Years.xml. Okay, so once we have the XML file, all we need to do is, for the drop down list, here's drop down list. What we need to do, So here's drop down list is called as drop down list 1 is called as, so here's drop down list is called as drop down list 1. So let's me call it drop down list 1 dot data source. Drop down list 1 dot data source. It is showing me this drop down list 1 does not exist in the current. Why it is not here? Because we are using it here. So first let me remove all this coding from here. Okay. This is the form 7 which we have shown you. Okay, now go to the web form 9. We also need to remove what to need to do. We delete this. Cut this, remove this. Okay, and then go to web form 9. Again it is showing error because we were using that coding in here, so we need to change the drop down list from here to as 1. Okay, and it is going to be 2. Okay, save the changes and go to design and go to the web form AXPX. So the error gone. Okay, so data source, we will set DS years as the data source. We will set DS years. So data source is equal to DS years as the data source, and finally call the data bind. And finally call the data bind. Data bind method. That's it. But then before that we also need to set the data text field and data value field within the year drop down list. Which columns you want to be displayed as the text? Which column you want to display as the text? In which value you want to be display is in, I mean you want as a value within the drop down list. We will have to specify that. So drop down list 1 dot, so drop down list drop down list 1 dot data text field data text field is equal to, in both the cases in both the cases I am going to use year's number, so I will just say number here. And similarly, we also need to specify the data value field. So I will say number here, and similarly we also need to specify the data value field. And that is also going to be the number. That's it. Actually, let's specify this before we bind the drop down list, and we are done. Means we have to specify this before we bind the drop down list, and we are done. Okay, so once we run this, when the web form loads up, as you might expect, the year drop down list should be populated. So save the changes. So once you run this, when the web forms loads up, as you might expect, the year drop down list should be populated. So when the web form loads up, as you might expect, the year's drop down list should be populated. So click here, look at here. (2002) 2013. Along the same line, I need to populate the month drop down list. Along the same line, I want to populate the month drop down list. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, instead of having all these codes, here, I'm going, encapsulate this inside a method. Right click on this. Right click on this selection and then select extract method. And I am going to call this load years. And I am going to call it loads year. Okay. I click apply. So it creates a private method. So it create a private method for me automatically. Along the same line, I am going to create another method called months. Okay. So let's create that private method. So let's create that private method. Private void. I'm going to call that load months. Load months, and then what is this method going to do? It is going to read the XML month.xml file and then load the data into the month drop down list. Actually copy and paste this code inside the, so copy and paste this code and paste it here. Okay, so I am going to call this data set as ds month, as ds months. New data set, and we want to read the XML data from months.xml. Months .xml. Here we need to write months. So months.xml file. Okay. So let's copy the name of that and then specify. So we have already done this. We have copy paste this name and paste it here. As you can see, months.xml file, and then specify that here. So months.xml, and then within the XML months XML file, what is the data text field, and within the months XML files, what is the data text field? The data text field is going to be name. The data text field is going to be name, and data value field is going to be number, and data value field is going to be number. So text field, so text field is going to be name, and the data value field will be a number, and data value field will be a number, and then that is going to be, drop down list to data source. Drop down list to data bind, and the data set is going to be month here, and the data set going to be month here. Okay. And what we want to do, we want to invoke this method here, load months. Once what we want to do, we want to invoke this method here, so load month. So load months, and we want to call these method only when it is the initial get request, because we don't want to be doing this on a every page load on a post back. We don't want to do this. We only want to do this on the initial get request upon post back, since this control is added at design time. If it is going to maintain its state for us automatically anyway. So let me go ahead. So what we need to inside the so once again I am repeating it here. So loads month, and we want to call these method only when it is initial get request, because we don't want to be doing this on a every page load on a post back. We don't want to do this. We only want to do this on the initial get request upon post back. Since this control is added at design time, it is going to maintain its state for us automatically anyway. So we go ahead and run this. At this time, you should see both the years and month populated from the respective XML files. So let me save the changes. Let's save the changes and run it. So at this time, you should see both the years and months populated from those respective XML files. As you can see here, and here. So I have the month and I have the year. So I have the month and I have the years. Now what should happen as soon as I change the year? Look at this. When I select 2008, the calendar visible date should automatically be changed to 2008. It did not. Why it did not change? Because we did not set the auto post back property, both of these drop down list. So I have to do one more thing. Go to the and select both of these drop down list and go to their properties and set the auto post back property to true. Okay, I made a mistake earlier. So we have set the auto post back property to true, both of these drop down lists. So save the changes and run it once again. Need to close all of previous browser. So you should see both of these years and month populated from those respective XML files. So I have the month and I have the years. So I have the month and I have the years. and as soon as I change the years, look at this. When I select 2008, it is still giving me a error. Why is it so? Okay, let me go once again and set its again. Select both of these drop down list and go to the properties. We have set auto post back to true. Then why it is giving an error? So once again we need to run it again. So run it and check it. Still it is not showing that. What happened to it? So let's see how to do that. Obviously it should happen when the selection in the drop down list changes. So I should set the drop auto post back property of this drop down list control to true. So let's go ahead and do that. We have done this. I have set the auto post back property, both of these property, to true. So save that, and then when the drop down list selected index changes, double click that. Okay, one mistake I am doing here. I need to also double click these properties also. So what you need to do, double click here, double click that to generate the event handler. Okay, I was not doing that. Okay, so you need to double click drop down list selected index changes to generate the event handler. When the selected index is changed, as that on that drop down list, what we want to do, this is a very simple code. One line of code. Calendar 1 dot visible date, calendar 1 dot visible date is equal to, look at the visible date property, look at the visible date property, look at that. The visible date property actually expects a date time, okay, as you can see here, this visible date property actually expects a date time to be passed in. So I am going to say new date time. So I am going to say new date time. New date time. And we can specify years month and day. So let's retrieve the years from the drop down list. So let's retrieve the years from the drop down list. So int year, int years, int year is equal to, we want to retrieve that from the years. We want to retrieve that from the year drop down list, and the ID of the drop down list is drop down list 1, and the ID of this drop down list is drop down list 1. So I am going to say drop down list 1 dot selected value. Drop down list 1 dot selected value. We need the value, and then we want to convert that to an integer. We need the value, and then we want to convert that to an integer. Convert dot to int 16. To convert that to an integer, so convert dot to int 16, that's it. And along the same line, I am going to retrieve the month as well. And along the same line, I want to retrieve the month as well. And it should be drop down list 2. So let's change the variable name to month. We have changed the variable name to month, and convert to int 16, and the month is going to come from drop down list 2, and the month is coming from drop down list 2, and we want to retrieve the value, not the text. And we want to retrieve the value, not the text, because the text will show the month name. Okay, so finally what left out? We have to change the visible date, and I am going to specify the year as year. So finally what left out? We have to change the visible date, and I am going to specify the year as year. Look at that, I am using this constructor. Look at that, I am using this constructor of that date time, of that date time class year, and then we need to specify month, which we already have from drop down list, and the day. And the day, I am going hard code it as 1. So I am going hard code this date as 1. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Along the same line, whenever the month changes within the drop down list, I want to do exactly the same. So go to the waveform 9 and double click it here. So that's it. Along the same line, whenever the month changes within the drop down list, I want to do exactly the same. So copy these and paste it here. Same thing. So let's copy and paste. I have done that there. So we are done. Now finally, when the user click this button, when the user click this button, what we want, double click this, what we want that date that the user has selected. So calendar 1, you want to print that onto waveform response.write. Response.write response.write calendar 1. How do we get the selected date? Using selected date property. Selected date property, and I want to convert that to short date string, and I want to convert it to a short date string. Dot to short date string. Dot to short date string. I just want a date and time. I just want the date. I don't need the time. So I am converting it to short date string. And another thing that we can actually do is we can actually say calendar 1 dot selected date. So here calendar one dot selected date. So we can actually say calendar 1 dot selected date is equal to also the same thing. So what is going to happen? The calendar will be changing to that date. Calendar is changing to that date. the visible date, and then on that date it will select the, and then on that date it will select the first day. It will select the first day of that month and year. Okay, and then if the user wants to change that, they can change it. So okay, so that's it, the code. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. So we need to also copy and paste this from here to there. Okay, so that's it, the code. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and we should have the behavior that we are expecting. So we should have the behavior that we are expecting. So the web form loads up. So let me save the changes and run it. So the web form loads up, and look at is currently I am on 2024 August of 2024, and I can choose, maybe I want to navigate to 2011. Look at, as soon as the year changes, the calendar flips to August 2011. As you can see here, because here selected January, you need to change it to August, but before that, so it is changed to January of 2011. But I don't want to go into January. I want to maybe go to November. So November 2000 of November. Go to the November 2011 by default. The first date is selected. But let's say the birth date is November 11. I can select the date. Select the date 11. I can select the date. Click the get selected date. And I am able to skip months and years. Select the date that I want, fit easily. In fact, you can actually navigate all of this HTML. In fact, you can navigate to this all of HTML. And all of this HTML and all of this code into its own user control. In the previous session of this video series, we have seen how to create user control, how to add them to web form and use them there. And in fact, we also have discussed how to load these user control dynamically. So if you are new to user control, I strongly encourage you to watch those videos session first, and then once you have this code encapsulated inside a user control, you can reuse them on any web form in your entire web application project. That's it for today. Thank for thank you for listening. Have a great day.